Welcome to Winenance Wednesday.
Hey everyone!
We're back.
Oh my gosh, back and better than ever.
Yes, definitely better than ever, especially with that theme music.
I know. I hope everyone likes our new theme song. I am super excited, and the song gets stuck in your head, but in a good way.
Yes, definitely in a good way. I've been dancing to it like for a week straight, and I'm not gonna lie, I probably will start coming into some of the Winenance Wednesdays, dancing my way in, shimmy. Well, welcome everyone. I see we've got a couple people joining in, so come on into the live. We are just getting started. While you're coming in, why don't we have everybody drop your name in the comments, and also, what are you drinking?
Yes. What am I drinking? What am I drinking? So today I have a lovely Pinot Noir.
Oh, Pinot Noir.
Pinot Noir. Exactly.
For anyone who's watched
Pinot Noir. Every time I open this bottle, I always think of that.
Yes,
so
exactly.
This one is the Burlwood. Hopefully you can see that. Probably not. Burlwood Pinot Noir. Oh, it is a Aldi's finest wine.
Yes,
so it's an FI wine.
Very FI.
It's one of my favorite wines. It's funny. I got this at Aldi's like a year or two ago. Not this particular bottle, obviously. But the first time I had it, I got it at Aldi's. I forgot that I got it at Aldi's. I drank the bottle like months after I bought it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And I couldn't remember where I got it from. And so I'm going to all the beer and wine stores around, and I can't find it anywhere. And then we went to a random Aldi's that sold alcohol like a few months ago. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the Aldi's wine. So
that's your wine.
Yes.
That's exciting.
So it is a under $10 and possibly even under $5 bottle of wine, knowing Aldi's.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Well, I have to admit right now I'm drinking water, but earlier I was drinking red wine. I also had an Aldi's Fine. So this is, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a red blend, Storm Chaser. I got to get used to this camera. Storm Chaser, red blend. And I have to give a shout out right now because we're celebrating my husband's birthday. Happy birthday, Jeff.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
It's Jeff's birthday. So I had more than one glass of wine during dinner. So I'm now drinking water. And let's see what everybody else is drinking.
I know. Looks like, so Omnispoon Man, who I must admit is my hubby, Nate, he is drinking his homebrew. So that's something we have been doing for the past few months, is making homebrew again. So that's a pretty good one. That was one of his favorite ones. Let's see who else. Kim, she's drinking Gallo Sweet Peach. That sounds good. Is that a mixed drink or a like pre-made drink? Like I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it sounds good.
Well, Gallo sounds like the wine brand, like, the wine brand Gallo.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what that is. All right. Awesome. Well, while everybody else is kind of getting into the live, we'll go ahead and get started. So for those of us who might be new to Winenance or new to Winenance Wednesday, we thought we'd kick off with like a little introduction here. Some of you might also remember we were originally doing Winenance Wednesdays on Instagram Live. So why don't we start off with introduction? So my name is Marie, and I'm joined here with my sister and best friend, real life bestie,
Built-in bestie.
Built-in bestie, yes. And
my name is Stephanie, by the way. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm the built-in bestie / sister / partner / awesome person.
All of those things. And so we are two sisters, and we are on the path to financial independence. And if you are not familiar with financial independence, it's basically having enough money to pay for the rest of your expenses for the rest of your life. That's kind of it in a nutshell. There are many ways to get there. No, you do not have to win the lottery in order to get there. There are a lot of, it's a growing movement of normal people just like you and me who are saving, up 50% or more of their income in order to fully fund the rest of their life so that they can choose how they want to spend the rest of their life. If you want to stay in your current job because you love it, phenomenal. If you want to pursue another passion, entrepreneurship or something, fantastic. If you want to travel the world, if you want to sit on a beach all day, all of those things you can do when you have your life fully funded. And so we decided to, we actually started off doing Winenance Wednesday to help people find financial independence. Our mantra is to help people stop spending, to grow wealth, and to live intentionally. So thank you so much for joining us tonight here. And let's see, why don't we talk a little bit more about Winenance Wednesday?
Sure, definitely. So as Marie mentioned, we started out on Instagram Live last season, and this is our season 2 premiere. So welcome everyone. Kind of how Marie said, getting into financial independence is really what kind of started this for us. And so we wanted to share the information that we've learned over the past however many years. We started with the people that were closest to us, friends and family, and now we're bringing all of this information to you. So our weekly financial independence broadcast is this Winenance Wednesday. We go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook now. And basically our goal is to discuss different money topics, the questions that you need to have answered to say, how do I even start on the path of financial independence? How do you even start saving at all? You know, we're starting with whether you are saving and in a retirement account through your employer, whether you have just a savings account in your bank, or even if you're not really saving that much money at all, but you're like, I got income, but I don't know what to do with it. That's exactly what we're trying to do and trying to help you out with, is figure out how you can save your money, but also make your money work for you. And so that's the goal of Winenance Wednesday. We're super excited to be doing this again. And I'm super excited about season 2. We have so much new information to bring to everyone. So definitely come back each week at 8 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Yes. And if you need a reminder, you can click the subscribe button. You'll get notified when we go live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, so you can join us. And we wanted to move to a different platform. We were originally streaming on Instagram, but we wanted to expand our reach, expand how many people could join us. You know, there's so many people on Facebook and YouTube. There's so many ways to interact with you all. So we decided to expand our platform and, said, okay, we're gonna make this a real operation. So we are super excited. Hey, Katie. Hey, Leslie. Hey, everyone who's joining us here live. Thanks for stopping by and joining us. So as Stephanie was saying, what we do with Winenance, it was something that we started off doing for our girlfriends. Literally, we built a PowerPoint presentation. Stephanie and I, we are money nerds, that is for sure. But we were not always that way. And we certainly did not grow up that way. Hey, Tamika, I'm so glad you could join us. We did not grow up that way. Quite the opposite. In fact, we had a lot of financial insecurity in our childhood. That's a very modest way to say that, for sure. Yeah. And, once we became adults, we saw ourselves starting to repeat the mistakes that we had learned from our parents, that we had learned growing up. And we just knew something had to change. We knew things had to be different. And I don't think it was ever a question for us that we would try to do better than what we grew up with, but how to do that, right? When you don't necessarily have, the how, when you don't necessarily have the financial role models, when you just don't have that information. And I know that we are not the only people in that boat. Right. And so, throughout our 20s, we started growing our careers, we started increasing our income, and we were doing well. We were doing good by anybody's standards. On the outside looking in, they would say, you guys are doing fantastic. We even put a little aside for savings. We were able to go on vacation. We were able to buy things that we wanted. We were able to buy cars, and, Stephanie was able to buy a house. We planned weddings. But we knew we could do better. We were good, but we weren't great. And I know for myself personally, when I basically stumbled upon financial independence just by trying to figure out how to navigate my 401k. I was so frustrated. I was at a new job, once again, being presented with a 401k, and I had no idea what to do with it. I basically spent my 20s not contributing to a 401k. And so finally, when I reached my early 30s, I wanted to change that. I knew, I had to change that. But out of frustration of not being able to navigate the provider website, not knowing what to invest in, I went down the rabbit hole, and through, Google University, I ended up stumbling on some blog posts that led me to financial independence and learning how to invest that way. And it opened my eyes to an entirely new way of living. Truly, it's like a lifestyle change. It really is. And so I started sharing this information with Stephanie, and she got excited, and she kind of jumped down the rabbit hole with me. And then, the nerds that we are, like we said, we built a PowerPoint presentation, invited our girlfriends over for an evening of wine and finance, and thus Winenance was born. And so at the end of each of these Winenance nights that we would have, everybody, we would like rebalance portfolios and, work, like literally we'd have our friends like log into your provider website and let's see if we can help you figure out like the right fund for you to be investing in. And at the end of each one of our Winenance nights, our friends would be like, you guys need to do something with this. Like, this needs to be a thing. And we never thought that was going to be the case. We never, intended for us to, start a blog, start a website, start a weekly live stream show. Yeah. I mean, I followed so many financial independence bloggers and podcasters for a long time. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to do this. Like, I'm never going to be one of these people. Yeah. I'm going to achieve financial independence, but I'm not going to be the person teaching financial independence. And now here we are.
Never say never. That's what I always tell my son.
Well, I think I think a lot of people end up doing that, in any kind of industry. When you find a passion in something that you are not only good at, but that you love, and you're so passionate about it that you can't help but tell other people about it. That's how actually a lot of entrepreneurs get started. That's how a lot of small businesses get started. And so I guess we should talk a little bit about our core mission at Winenance.
Right. So kind of how Marie said, when we started Winenance, it wasn't even Winenance. It was just Saturday night wine and finance parties. We wanted to share the information that we had found and learned on our own with our friends, because once we got into it, we realized how simple it was to actually try to achieve financial independence. And even if you don't fully succeed, even though if you decide I want to have $1 million and you end up halfway there, you have $500,000, so any amount that you can get is a success. And that was the thing that we wanted to share with our friends and our family, that it's possible on any salary to be able to save money, plan for your future, plan for your retirement, and live a comfortable life. And that's really what financial independence is all about, living the life that you want and you deserve. And so really Winenance's core mission is to share that information with as many people as we can. So that's why we started doing Winenance Wednesdays and started doing our blog and our social media and providing all the content that we have, because we wanted to share how simple it can be to achieve these goals. So Winenance's core mission is about stopping spending, growing wealth, and living intentionally. And what that really means is, obviously we all spend money, hopefully most of us are working, but when you're working, you're spending money. And even if you're spending money on things that you should be, like your home and your food and your electricity and everything else, there's always the extra expenses, how expensive a car you decide to get, or going out. Well, we don't really all go out anymore, but when we did go out.
Oh, remember the day.
Exactly. How expensive your vacations are going to be, things like that. And so the point is that sometimes we're spending way beyond our means and way beyond what we need to. So the point is not that you should never spend any money. Of course not. We all have to spend money. We all have bills that we have to pay, and just general living expenses we need to have a somewhat comfortable life. But that's the point, is figure out how much you need to live the life that you want. Maybe not the extravagant life that you want, but a generally happy, comfortable life that you want. How much does that cost? And hopefully you're making at least that amount, and then some additional amount. And that additional amount is what you can save. And I think that you'd be super surprised at how much and how easy you can start to cut back some of these little expenses here and there. I mean, like Marie said, when we started this, I wasn't really saving as much as I was. I don't even think I was contributing to my 401k either. And I was spending a ridiculous amount of money on eating out. Like it still sickens me to this day, like how much we spent in a single month one time. I'm like, oh my God, no, really? And that's the point, is there's always somewhere that you can start to cut. And that's the difference. That money that you cut out in these little areas here and there, it really adds up.
Yeah.
So that's the point of stopping spending. And then growing wealth. I mean, it sounds exactly what it's like. We all want to be wealthy, but what does that really mean? So the point is, once you figure out how much you really need to live the life that you want and the life that you're aiming for and hopefully are currently able to live, then you say, all right, I'm going to take the rest of that money and I'm going to start saving it and investing it, because it's not just enough to put it in a bank account that either has no interest savings on it or an extremely small percentage, less than 1% and less than 0.05%. You're not really going to make money on your money. However, when you do smart investing and intelligent, thought out investing, that's the way that you can really start to grow wealth. And so through Winenance, you'll learn all about index funds and Vanguard and Fidelity and what expense ratios mean, things that, right now, those might be foreign concepts to you, but those are the simple concepts and simple things that really help you to achieve wealth. How you can, invest in a stock market and not be terrified that you're going to lose it all. There are ways to do that. Not to say that there isn't any risk. Of course, there's always some risk to investing, but there's a far bigger risk to not investing and not having your money work for you, because unfortunately, inflation always happens. And if you're sticking your money under a mattress or in a bank account earning nothing, then you're losing to inflation year over year. So you're actually losing money. That's a guaranteed way to lose money. So if you want to take a little bit of a risk and have some lower risk investments, that's better than nothing. So that's the way that we want to teach you how to grow wealth and feel confident in what you're investing in, so that you know exactly where your money is going. And then, kind of like we've mentioned, the living intentionally part, it's about figuring out the life that you want to live, the amount of money it's going to cost to get there, and then doing it, not living for the Joneses, not living for your friends, not living for your neighbors who, say, oh, they came home in an Audi today. Like, no, live for yourself. If you want an Audi, that's awesome, but don't get one just because, it's name recognition and you think people will think, oh, Stephanie's doing great. Do what you want, live intentionally. And when I learned what that really meant, that's kind of what changed my life. That was the lifestyle change for me. I've always kind of been a saver, but I didn't really know what to do with my money until we started learning about investing and everything. But then even once I started investing, I kind of didn't really know what else to do. I felt like there was something else that was missing. And when I finally really realized what it meant to live intentionally, it changed everything for me. And again, it wasn't about, eating rice and beans and living in a shoebox and riding a bike to work or the bus and not having a car and not going on vacations. It was about determining really what's important to you. Where do you find value? Do you find value in spending time with your family, quality time? Do you find value in going on a nice vacation with your family where you can, disconnect and completely relax and not have to worry about everything else that's going on? Do you find value in living in a nice house in a nice neighborhood that can provide your child with a quality education? All of that costs money, and that's okay. But that's where you find value, and that's where your money should go. It shouldn't go to the things that you don't care that much about. It shouldn't go to the things that you think are going to give you a certain status. It should go to the things that you find value. And so that's the point of living intentionally.
That's right. It's living intentionally is also known as the why of FI. You'll hear that phrase a lot if you follow any FI bloggers or podcasters. You'll also hear us talk about that. And that's so important. And, you're going to hear us talk about things like financial life goals. So we all know about life goals. A life goal could be, I want to save money for a down payment for a house, or I want to save money for a wedding or a vacation, right? Those are life goals. And then you have like financial goals, which is, I want to save 3 to 6 months for my emergency fund, 3 to 6 months living expenses for my emergency fund, or, things of that nature. And we believe in tying your financial goals and your life goals together, not just because it's like a nice thing to know, but honestly, it's going to help keep you on that track to achieving those goals, the financial goals, and also keep you on track towards measuring how close you are to that life goal. Stephanie talked about sort of this like that financial independence isn't about deprivation. It's not about, who can eat rice and beans for the rest of their lives. It really is about living the life that you deserve, the life that you say, this is what I want. But you need to actually figure out, well, what is that life that I want? I think a lot of people, and this is typical for just, sort of American life, is that, you go to school, you get a degree, you get a job, you get married, you buy a house, you do all these things, you climb the ladder at work, whatever the case is, you get raises, you get bonuses, you take 2 weeks off to go on vacation, rinse, repeat for the next 40 years. And that is a fantastic life if that's what you choose. It's a great life. There's nothing wrong with it. But the thing is that what you are choosing to do actively, or are you just going through the motions? And so when we talk about financial life goals, it's about, one, figuring out, well, what is my dream life? Like, what is the life that I really want to live? And then figuring out, how can I live that life today? How can I start living that life just a little bit today, right? So, we'll talk about more of this in future episodes. But, one example that I always give about a financial life goal is with an emergency fund. For my personality type, it's not enough for me to just say, I need to have 3 to 6 months of living expenses in the bank for an emergency fund, for this vague emergency that may or may not ever come to fruition, right? For me, I need to know that if I'm going to lose my job, or if I somehow part ways with my full-time income through whatever means, I get fired, or I get laid off, or I get sick, or whatever the case is, or I get burnt out and I rip my hair out and I just have to quit. Whatever, in any of those scenarios, what I want to know is that I'm going to be free from the stress and the anxiety of knowing how I'm going to pay my bills for at least 3 to 6 months, so that I can be looking for a job or a replacement to my income that is meaningful and important to me, so that I don't have to just take the first thing that comes along, the first thing that offers me, a paycheck, even if it makes me miserable. Nobody wants that. And that's what we mean about living intentionally. And what we talk about financial life goals is, yeah, it's important to save that money, but why are you saving that money? What is your reason for doing that? So,
exactly.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that in coming episodes, but we did want to share with you sort of what we've been up to this summer. So I mentioned at the top of the broadcast that, Stephanie and I were originally streaming on Instagram. We were doing Winenance Wednesdays every Wednesday on Instagram over the summer. And then we decided to kind of take a break. We wanted to reevaluate the direction that we wanted to grow Winenance in, the direction that we wanted to take our website, our blog, Winenance Wednesdays. And so we basically took the summer off to find a new streaming platform, to make updates to our website. So we kind of wanted to share with you some of those updates. We thought it might be helpful for you, whether you're new or you're a returning member of the Winenance community. So I think the first thing we'll start with is, let's see, how about the website? So we have an updated website, winancefi.com is our website. Totally redesigned it. We're going to talk a little bit about a skill you learned during quarantine. And I can say confidently that my skill was web design. And, look, I'm not a web designer by any means, but I'm pretty proud of this work. I'm pretty proud of the job that I did.
You did a great job.
More importantly, thank you. More importantly, we wanted to redesign it so that anybody visiting our website could find the content that they're looking for, that you could easily find content around ways to stop spending, ways to break that cycle of spending. If you're interested in the investment part of it, well, what are the ways and tactics that I grow wealth? And how do I learn what an expense ratio is, or what an index fund is? And then how do I live intentionally? Giving you those examples of, like, with an emergency fund and financial life goals. Well, how do I actually set those kind of goals? So we redesigned our website to make it easier for you to find that content and that information. So that was one of the things we did this summer. Steph, do you want to talk a little bit more about Winenance Wednesday and choosing our platform?
Yeah. So as Marie mentioned, we originally started out on Instagram and doing Instagram lives, and it was a great platform. We got a lot of followers, which was awesome, but it also was limited. Someone had to join Instagram to be able to see us. And so we wanted to be able to share as much information as we could with as many people as we could. And so expanding our platforms to here on YouTube and here on Facebook as well gives us a lot more flexibility and a lot more reach, so that we can reach you guys, our audience, and share all the great information that we found and help you achieve your financial goals. The other thing that I love about this new platform is that we can be far more interactive with you guys. So we definitely, if you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll hit them during the broadcast tonight and any other night that we're doing this, and try to answer them for you. Because that's definitely the thing, is that we're doing this for you. So if there's something that it's not clear, you don't know about, or maybe you heard about something, your friend or family member mentions, something investing, the stock market, whatever it is that you might have a question about, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look. If we can answer it that night, we will. If it's something we might need to get back to you on, then we'll definitely do that, and then check back in the following week, and we'll get back to you on that, because we want to answer those questions that you have. So, we really appreciate everyone coming in and joining us on these new platforms, and hopefully the experience is a lot better for you as well. I think we've definitely leveled up our game here.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to. All right. So speaking of interacting with you all, we decided to add in a new element to Winenance Wednesday, which is a question of the day. So our question of the day, we posted this on Instagram earlier today. And so we're going to post it again here, and you guys can leave your comments below. So what is a new skill that you have learned since quarantine? So I kind of mentioned earlier that learning web design was definitely, or leveling up, I guess, web design is the skill that I learned over the summer. I'm also a calligrapher. I do calligraphy on the side because, path to financial independence, you need those side hustles. And I think I definitely leveled up my calligraphy. I wanted to kind of improve my style a little bit. So that was something that, all this extra time with quarantine has given me the opportunity to advance my skills there. So that was definitely a fun way for me to level up. What about you, Steph?
For me, mostly it's been this, really, I did so much research on, streaming platforms and which one was the best and easiest and least expensive, or at least you get the most bang for your buck. I mean, everything that everyone's seeing tonight has been my hard work and the fruits of my labor for the past couple months. The opening video, figuring out how to create these types of videos. And as much as we keep saying we don't want to get into video editing, I feel like that's just the path we're going on.
We were like, we're not going to be YouTubers. We're not going to be editing videos. We're not going to be doing this stuff. We don't have time for this. Here we are.
Exactly. So that's definitely been part of it. And really just try to get through the last few months. It's been a difficult time for everyone, but I know that I think the best thing to do is to try to use this time as positively as possible. So really expanding my knowledge in terms of options that are out there. I'm very familiar with 401ks and 403bs and 457bs and IRAs, but there's so many other retirement options, investment options, even just individual stock investing. I've been trying to learn more about dividend stock investing during this time, and so that way, the more I learn, the more I can share with everyone out there.
All right. Well,
what has everyone else been learning about over this time? Let's see.
So I like this. I learned I could do my job from home. Here. I think we've all learned that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see.
There we go.
And Kim says, getting more crafty without spending money. Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
I know. I've been the type of meals that I have been making, because I used to go to the grocery store once a week, and I've been trying to stretch it out to at least 2 weeks apart since everything's happened. And so I've come up with some very creative recipes, though my favorite recipe is what I call the lazy man's chicken parmesan. And it is one of my favorite new recipes. I don't care if it came on the fly and I just put it together one night. It is literally one of my favorite recipes now.
Yeah, I think everybody's been learning new recipes too. I was definitely going through a baking phase earlier on in quarantine. I was making chocolate chip cookies every week. That had to stop.
And you know what? I know everyone's making bread too.
bread, sourdough, all of it. So we also posted this question on Instagram, and we're going to keep doing this week after week. We'll post the question of the day on Instagram so you can answer there, or you can answer during our live broadcast. But I asked this question earlier, and actually Tamika, who's on the broadcast now, she had answered about leveling up her makeup skills, especially because she's on a lot of Zoom calls all day, and she learned how to do contouring and different types of, techniques with her eyeshadow by watching, YouTubers. And Tamika has the best eyebrows ever, you guys. Like, they are works of art, truly.
You cannot begin to describe them.
Yes, I am. There needs to be like an Instagram account dedicated. That's how good they are. So one of the other things that we were working on this summer that's like a labor of love for me was our 401k guide.
Yes.
So, we talked about like improving our website and creating content that you guys can, that is useful for you and that's easy for you to find. And our 401k guide was one of the biggest things I always wanted to do when we started doing Winenance and Winenance Wednesdays. And the reason being is that kind of what I talked about earlier in the broadcast is that, our employers give us this benefit of a retirement account, right? But that's kind of the beginning and end of it. They give it to you. They say, hey, here's an email. Go sign up for this account. And then that's it. Nobody's holding your hand. Nobody's walking you through how to navigate the website. Nobody's showing you what to invest in or even like what these terms mean. And it doesn't really matter if you are new in your career and you've just graduated college or if you've been in your career for decades. So many American workers, so many employees don't know how to navigate their 401k provider. And this goes the same for 403B or 457B. They're basically the same kind of accounts. Just depends on what type of entity you work for. And so we wanted to create this guide basically as a step-by-step guide, as close as you could get to having me and Stephanie like holding your hand, sitting next to you, walking you through how to navigate your provider's website. And we wanted to make it as broad as possible so that regardless of who your 401k provider is, that you could navigate that website by understanding a few basic terms, by understanding how to find your employer match if you have an employer match. Even like we start at the very beginning, we're like step one, how to log in. Like truly, we are making this as elementary as possible. And the reason being is that so few people are taking in full advantage of this benefit through their employers. And we're going to get into more of this next week. We're actually going to be talking about 401ks next week. And we'll go through the 401k guide in much more detail next week. So definitely, if this is something that is of interest to you and you are ready to level up your 401k, be sure to tune in next week because we're going to talk more about that. But for now, you can go and download it for free on our website. It's winancefi.com/401k. It is a free guide. I think it's 11 pages long. And, we are so passionate about helping everybody build wealth and using the tools that you have at your disposal, and your employer sponsored retirement account is the best place to get started.
Definitely. So the next thing that I'm super excited about too, that we have started to do for Winenance Wednesday. So we're doing the question of the day, but also we want to have something that you guys can take with you, throughout the next week until you get to the next Winenance Wednesday, because I know how much you're clamoring after this is over. But we wanted to start doing a challenge of the week. And basically what that does is it gives you
like TikTok challenge.
Yes, except hopefully a little bit easier. Where we wanted to just do simple things that you guys could get done within a week easily. You could probably get done in a day, in an hour, most of these things, but it's going to help you level up your finances, help you save more money, help you start living that intentional life. So starting with this week's challenge,
we're
going to challenge you to sign up for a budgeting tool to track your spending. So that's something like Mint, like Personal Capital, YNAB, which is You Need a Budget, is one. I mean, there's a ton out there. Those are some of our favorites, and we have included links to those in the descriptions here. So both on Facebook and on YouTube, you can go to the description of the video and click on our links, and it'll take you directly there. You might have heard of some of these before. I know that we've mentioned them in the first season of Winenance, which ones we like. Personally, I'm a Mint girl. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it works for what I need. And I know Marie really likes Personal Capital, but there's a new one that you really like too. What's the new one that you like?
It's called Cube. It's QUBE. It's in beta testing right now, so it's not open to the public, but I went ahead and signed up for their lifetime membership. I think they're going to price it. They're going to have a basic plan. I know that. I think it's like a free, but then they've got like a premium level plan that's going to be like $6 or $8 a month. I went ahead and paid for the lifetime membership for it because I feel so strongly about what this tool can do, and I wanted to be a beta tester for it. I'm so excited. I just got my email that my golden ticket is in the mail. Which
you really want the golden ticket?
I really want a golden ticket, but basically, and we'll talk more about this because I'm going to walk you guys through my progress through Cube, because if it works for me, I definitely want our audience to know about it. But for the longest time, I have always been attracted to the concept of digital envelopes, or just envelopes, cash on envelopes. So basically, it's a form of budgeting where you set up your categories. So you've got grocery, gas, utilities, whatever your expenses are, you've got an envelope for each one of those, right? And then you set aside a certain amount of your income and you split that up evenly amongst your envelope, right? So that works fantastic. But one, nobody's operating with cash in envelopes. I'm certainly not going to be walking around with thousands of dollars in envelopes in my purse all day. And then even digital envelope budget apps, I didn't find that they worked well for me, because I have to know when I go to CVS or when I go to Target that I'm spending in this category, I'm spending in that category. And it was always hard for me to track it. And I always said that digital envelopes needs to have a point of sale component to it. So basically, when you're at the cash register and you're making that purchase, you need to choose where from your bank account is that money coming from. Is it coming from the gas account? Is it coming from the gas envelope? Is it coming from the groceries envelope? Whatever the case is. And so Cube is the first of its kind that I found that is putting those two together, that is putting the point of sale transaction together with the envelopes. And I am so excited about this. I really hope it works out well. Like I said, I'm definitely I'm gonna be documenting my experience with Cube as a beta tester. You guys will be able to, see my reviews of it on our Instagram and other social media accounts. But I think this could be a game changer. So I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. I know that sounds good. I'm excited to hear how your journey goes with that. Because like I said,
yes.
I like Mint. I like that it's free, first off.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
It's not perfect. It has things that kind of drive me crazy that I wish it did that it didn't do. But I feel like I'm also a different budgeter where I'm more of a fluid budget person. I know how much we should generally be spending each month, but if I go over in one category, but I'm under in another, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm not going to not buy groceries, come the end of the month if I've already gone over because I decided to buy like steaks or something, one time and went over our budget. But I might not have as much. Like our car gas bill has gone down.
Yeah. So you can allocate to other areas then, because you're freeing up that money.
Yeah, that's what I kind of do. I just, as long as I know my top dollar, like this is how much in total I generally try to spend each month, and I'm not going exorbitantly over it, then I'm okay with that. And so Mint kind of helps me figure out the trends. And honestly, that's one of the things I really like about Mint is that it's really good at putting a visual to your spending trends. And so that's kind of the second challenge of the week that we have. It's a level up challenge, and it is, if you already are using one of these budgeting tools that we mentioned, or you want to do a second challenge because you really want to level up your finances, in addition to having your budget tracking tool, we want you to check your spending trends and take a look, see where all your money's really going, where are you really spending the most money, especially money that you know you could kind of cut back on. And then just make a plan to start cutting back in one category. That's all you have to do. You don't have to pick, 5 different things that you're doing and figure out where to cut back. Just pick one simple thing. And that's really what these challenges are meant to be. Signing up for one of these services is the easiest thing that you can do. I mean, the biggest thing is just linking all your accounts and whatnot. But once it's set up, it's so simple. It's mostly set it and forget it kind of a thing. And then also with just choosing where you want to start cutting back, picking one category. Maybe that is groceries. Maybe that's, your restaurant and eating out budget, whatever it might be, there's always something that we can start to cut back in. And just picking one little thing to start with is, that first step. So that's what our challenges of the week are for you.
All right. So we want to hear from you guys next week to see how your challenges went. If you're starting with a new app or if you're doing the level up challenge, we want to hear from you and see how it's going. All right. Well, that is kind of it for episode 1 of our new season of Winenance Wednesday. We wanted to make this sort of like an introductory broadcast. As I mentioned earlier, next week, we're going to be talking about 401ks. We're going to do a deep dive into our 401k guide. So definitely go to our website to winancefi.com/401k to download that guide, because you're going to want to have that handy next week. We are diving in and we're going to help you talk through strategies on how to invest in your 401k. Oh, we got a couple more comments here. Katie was talking about, oh yes, Katie uses SoFi and she raves about it. She's had a really great experience with SoFi, and they also have envelopes. I guess they call them vaults, and they do spend analysis. Thanks for letting us know that, Katie. Yeah. And Kim, I know as a teacher, we are definitely going to be talking about, 457Bs for teachers and government workers. So we're gonna touch on that next week and talk about some strategies for how you can be investing, especially during what a crazy time this is right now for teachers and for a lot of people. So definitely come and join us next week. So if you have not already, go ahead and click the subscribe button and click like on the video. That helps other people find our content. Stephanie and I are doing this for free. We are truly doing this because we absolutely love it, and we want as many people as possible to be able to take control of their finances and define financial independence and financial freedom. And so one of the best ways that you can support us is by clicking that subscribe button, because that's going to, 1, help us get closer to potentially monetizing our YouTube account. And number 2, that's going to help more people find our videos and find our content, so that we can keep this conversation going and help as many people as possible. So definitely click like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
Tell a friend.
Of course, I know.
Tell a friend about Winenance.
We are.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I told Stephanie.
Fun way to learn about finance.
This is the fun way to learn about finance. I told Steph earlier, I was like, if everybody leaves the broadcast thinking like they just spent an hour with their girlfriends talking about, money and drinking wine, then our mission is completed. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Jamie. I'm glad this was fun for you. All right. Until next Wednesday, we'll see you guys later. Have a great week.
Our YouTube channel. So hold on real quick, just so everyone knows what our YouTube channel is. If you search Winenance on YouTube, then you'll be able to find us. We are original. So we're really the one and only Winenance. But yes, we should definitely show up there. And on Instagram and Facebook, we're at Winenance. So definitely all you got to do is type in Winenance in the search bar and we should show up.
I put it on screen so you know how to spell it. So it's wine and like Nance as in finance. So
that's the only problem with it not being a real word is that your like autocorrect spell check is always like, no, this isn't a right word.
Believe me, Stephanie and I have said every version of Winenance you could possibly say. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope this was helpful, and we can't wait to see you again next week.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.